Okay, Mackenzie, this is the last problem that you asked for. Number 2, and it reads, Frank borrowed $5,000 with an annual simple interest rate. After 6 months, the amount of the interest was $300. What is the interest rate? Okay, so this is an interest rate problem, and it's pretty simple, and I like these because all we're going to do is just fill in the blanks of the equation and solve for the final variable. So in order to do this, you simply need to know that interest equals principal, which is P. Principal is the amount of money that you start with, either the amount of money that you borrowed or the amount of money you gave away or whatever. That's principal. R is the rate, interest rate, 10%, 5%, and usually it's based on an annual, which is 1 year. So oftentimes in problems, it's going to be 1, but it's not always 1, which we'll find out momentarily. And the final variable is T, which obviously stands for time. So the equation of interest is I equals PRT. Now the cool thing is that there are 4 variables. If you know any 3 of them, you can find the 4th. So for example, if we know the interest, principal, and rate, we can find the length of the loan. If we are given the time, principal, and rate, we can find the interest. If we're given the interest, rate, and time, we can find the principal. So it's kind of neat. But you need to know at least three variables. So what I like to do with word problems is identify everything. So, okay, so the amount of interest is, I'm going to fill this in one by one. The amount of interest is, it says interest was 300. So I'm going to identify my I as 300. Next variable is P. So P is the amount of money that we start off with, the principal, which he borrowed $5,000. So P equals 5,000. Now the rate, we don't know because the question says, what is the interest rate? We want to find that R. Okay. Time. Now, as I said earlier, in the I equals PRT equation, T usually means annual. Okay, so it's annual. It tells up here the annual simple rate, but it tells us that it's 6 months. So 6 months out of 12 months, 12 months being 1 year, is half a year. So R equals 0.5. Or you could use a fraction 1/2 if you wanted to. I'm sorry, that's time. R is the unknown, okay? So we have interest of 300, principal of 5,000, time is 6 months or half a year, so 0.5, and we're going to find this. Now we just plug in these into the equation. So I is 300. P is 5,000. R we don't know. And T is 0.5. So now we just have a simple algebraic equation here. So 300, and as you know, I like to do all my steps nice and neat and nice in order. Take our time. 5,000 times 0.5 is 2,500 R. Now we want to solve for R. We have to divide both sides by 2,500. And these numbers look good, so those cross out. Now if we divide 300 by 2,500, we're going to get 0.12 equals R. Okay, so R equals 0.12, but we want an interest rate, which is a percentage. So in that case, we need to multiply 0.12 times 100 in order to get a rate at percentage. So 100 times 0.12 is going to be 12%, which is quite a high rate from the bank. But comparatively, if you borrowed it from, say, the mob or the mafia, it might be 60%. And if you didn't pay it back, you'd be sleeping with the fishes. So we'll consider 12% here a bargain. And I believe that was, I didn't write the answers down at the beginning of the problem, but I think 12% was the third answer or whatever. But 12% is your answer. Simple. I equals PRT. Word problem. Hope that helps. Bye. And thanks once again for your attention.